we saw the 2007 blackout versus Auburn, one of the like great moments of in UGA football history. Honestly, it was just so much fun the first time they busted out the black jerseys. This has been such a highly controversial topic in UGA circles. I just feel like the need to like just set the record straight. Like, where do I stand on these black jerseys, right? So last week, and I will say the timing wasn't crazy about the timing. It was right after they announced that Georgia Tennessee would be a night game. I think it was the Barstool UGA or like the Spike Squad. One of them's coming out and is talking about we want a blackout for that Tennessee night game. And I'm over here thinking we got a big time matchup on the road with Ole Miss. We can't be focused on. We can't be looking 2 weeks ahead. Humility is a week away. Kirby Smart taught me that. All right, humility is always a week away. So I didn't like the fans. The fans were looking ahead. Maybe we didn't bring it for that Ole Miss game. Maybe that explains it. No, I'm just whatever I can say to cope with that domination that the Ole Miss fans, the Ole Miss Rebels gave us last week. But so that's what I'm hearing, right? The fans want to do a blackout. It's a night game. So there's this, like I said, everyone loved it. Everyone loved the black jerseys when we did it in 2007 versus Auburn, and then you did it against Hawaii back in the Sugar Bowl that year. And then the following year, College Game Day comes to town. It's the blackout. I don't need to rehash everything with most of the diehard UGA fans. But maybe there's some young ones that don't remember the 2008 season that well. And we came in pretty cocky, preseason number 1, although I think they were like number 4 by the time that game rolled around, even though they were like 4-0. They had dropped a couple spots in the rankings. But Alabama comes in. You know the story. They just absolutely dominate Georgia in the black jerseys. Comments made. I want to say Kirby Smart said they were going to a funeral. He was an Alabama guy back then. He strayed for a little bit. He's a Georgia guy again now. But Alabama dominated Georgia that day, and Georgia allowed it to become. Georgia fans became rattled like no other program in the history of college football has become rattled, as far as I'm concerned. Like, I appreciate Jackson Johnson in the live chat. Georgia number 3 going into that blackout game. No respect for our 4-0 start or whatever it was. I don't know. I'm channeling my teenage self that was still salty about the lack of respect Mark Richt teams got. But you know what happened? Alabama dominated Georgia. Georgia came back in the second half and made the score look close, but no one remembers that. They remember Alabama being up 31-0 at halftime against Georgia. And the Georgia fan base was just rattled after that. They did have the 2009 game with Florida where they busted out the black helmets and the black pants with the white jerseys. That was a terrible look. So I think after that, fans were like, I don't want to wear these gimmicky jerseys, yada, yada, yada. Like, I don't know. It somehow it became this gimmick and this storyline of fans being pro black jerseys or anti black jerseys. And it's just the weirdest thing ever. We gave Alabama, honestly, Georgia allowed Alabama the satisfaction of just taking their black jerseys away, like forever. Like, what kind of soft just behavior is that? Like, I've never understood why that game became what it was. Like Penn State, I've seen conflicting numbers. I've seen a 10-6. I've seen 11-8. That Penn State in the whiteout games. They're either 10-6 or 11-8. I'm not sure who's got the real stats, but that's a bunch of losses. And it's still one of the coolest traditions in all of college football. Like, everyone loves the Penn State whiteout game. There's teams all across college football that don't even have black in their uniforms that are rocking black jerseys. Like every big game. I feel like Iowa State, every big game, you wouldn't even know they're a red and gold team if you only tuned in for the big games they have because they're wearing black and white. So every Tennessee doesn't have black in their colors. They rock the black jerseys, look great. Florida rocks the black jerseys. Didn't look quite so good, but there's so many teams out there that rock black jerseys. Georgia's actually a team that has black in their colors, and that black jersey is one of the best looking uniforms in college football. So as far as I'm concerned, wear it. I would wear it as for one night game a year at least. Like maybe even a neutral site where you're the home team and you're wearing your red jerseys. Like you could rock the black. Like, wear it once a year at least. Like, it's just a really good looking uniform. Also, Georgia's 5-1 all time in these black jerseys. Like, that's the part I don't understand about the inferiority complex. Like, they lost that one game to Alabama, and we can retroactively look that was the start of a dynasty. Like, Alabama lost one game that season. Oh, I want to actually no, they lost SEC championship and then the Sugar Bowl, right? But started the season 12-0. That team was dominant and they were better than Georgia. That's why they beat them. They didn't beat us because we had these gimmicky black jerseys on. They beat us because they were better, and that's it. Every recruit that commits to Georgia does so with a graphic of like them wearing a black jersey. If they're not in an all white jersey with white helmet, like the recruits are rocking crazy stuff. Kirby Smart's all about the alternate jerseys in the recruiting photos, but not when it comes on the field. So as far as I'm concerned, my official stance, they may be the best uniforms in college football. Just the red helmet, black jerseys, silver breeches. And I'm a big uniform guy, so this is not going to be the first, or this is the first, will not be the last time I comment on uniforms when it comes to college football. But they're one of the best uniforms out there. The fans like it, the players like it, the recruits like it. And if it is a gimmick, who knows? With how things are going right now, maybe you need a gimmick. Maybe you need something to get a little extra juices flowing in Sanford Stadium on Saturday night. You shouldn't. I think Tennessee coming to town should be enough to get up for that game. But Kirby Smart said himself that the fans didn't bring the juice for that Auburn game, and that's the only other real competitive the competitive team that Georgia has faced in Sanford Stadium this year. So it's the other ones were Mississippi State and Tennessee Tech. So if Georgia didn't bring it for Auburn, and I know this isn't a good Auburn team, but that's the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Like, I know the fans, there's going to be a different energy for that Tennessee game regardless. But the black uniforms, maybe it is a gimmick. Maybe we need a gimmick right now because Bulldogs are not playing their best football. So, hey, black jerseys, I am here for it. So the other aspect of this game, along with the black jerseys, to me, is this is a massive recruiting weekend. And hold on, let me go to the group chat or the live chat before I move on. Jackson Johnson, this guy, he knows what's up, Black jerseys on Georgia were cool, kind of like Michigan wearing blue pants and Ohio State and Oklahoma wearing alternate uniforms once or twice a year. Yeah, it's not that hard. Everyone's doing it. Everyone rocks like one alternate jersey. I don't know what happened to Kirby during the pandemic during 2020. He must have had a screw loose. Georgia rocked the 1980 throwbacks that year. They rocked the black dog collar jerseys twice. Hey, if I need to make a stance, this is just part 2 of the black jersey conversation. Burn the dog collar jerseys. I don't want to ever see the dog collar jerseys again. No, I'm not here for that. So, yeah, like I said, Georgia 5-1 when they've worn black jerseys. It's that Auburn 2007, Hawaii 2007, year 1 of Kirby Smart. They rocked the black versus the Ragin' Cajuns of the University of Louisiana. And then in 2020, wore them against Mississippi State and against Cincinnati in the Sugar Bowl, or in the Peach Bowl, I should say. So, yeah, they're 5-1 all time. They let one blowout loss to Alabama just totally rattle them, and not a fan of it. So hopefully Georgia bust them out. And I don't even necessarily think it needs to be this week, but hopefully they just start wearing them again because they're one of the best uniforms in college football as far as I'm concerned. And this is a major recruiting weekend. Like, I can't necessarily get into all the guys that are going to be on campus for the Georgia Bulldogs this weekend, but it's an insane list, as you can imagine, because this is the only real big time game that Georgia has had at home all season. So, you're going to have I know Jared Curtis, the 5-star QB for 2026 that decommitted from Georgia. I know he's going to be there. There's just 4 stars on 4 stars on 4 stars. The class of 2025, 2026, and some 2027 guys are going to be on campus. I know Christian Gass out of Covington, Georgia, the Tennessee commit. He's supposed to be on campus for this game. And, there's some Georgia fans, or there's some Georgia commits that have used some of those visits to go to Texas and Alabama to see Georgia. So he might just want, hey, this might be the closest Tennessee gets to his hometown all season. So might just be looking for a free recruiting trip, or maybe Georgia can flip him. But a bunch of guys committed elsewhere. Donovan Starr, the 4-star defensive back, Auburn commit, is going to be on this one, according to most people, or according to Dogs HQ. But yeah, bunch of recruits in town. So the black jersey, if it adds to the atmosphere at all, like, I mean, it seems like a no brainer. Like, this is it for the Georgia Bulldogs. Like, we're not really used to being in this situation. Like, I think as Georgia as Georgia fans, it depends on how old you are. If you're used to being in this situation where uh, every game matters. Victoria Friedheim, I appreciate you reaching out in the live chat. Facts. Dog color jerseys are just plain lame.